How do you think about AI affecting the job market? So there are some people who are saying it's going to decimate all jobs and we're going to be out on the streets in 5 years. So we need to work out universal basic income or some kind of solution ASAP because we're going to be jobless in a couple of years. There are other people who says, no, AI is rubbish. It won't be able to do anything. It's never going to take any real jobs. Then there are additional arguments like, oh, AI is going to create as many jobs as it destroys. Don't think so. Where I feel or where I land on it is I think it's going to be a slower process than we currently think it is. I think the way it's going to happen, especially for the next couple of years, is not going to be AI directly getting individuals fired. So let's say Barbara works in accounting. I don't think Barbara is going to lose her job to AI specifically. I think what's going to happen instead is we will have an erosion at the bottom of the job market. So at the bottom of each company, you have entry level people. That's the same for an industry. So if you have the advisory industry, for example, or the consulting industry, you have a pyramid with entry level at the bottom, kind of managers in the middle here, and then leaders at the top. So they're all pyramidal shape with the people above using the people below to get work done. That's how they're structured. I think what we're going to see is the bottom of that pyramid being eroded because companies, and then as a whole, industries, and then as a whole, the entire economy needs less people at those entry level positions. So we're already seeing this in advisory and consulting companies, for example. Their intakes of their graduate programs are shrinking because less people can now do more work using AI. So this isn't jobs, this isn't people being fired directly by AI, it's just less jobs being created. And the US Department of Statistics, I think it's called, they released some job creation numbers last month, and only 73,000 jobs have been created instead of the, I think, normal 150,000 or so that they get per month. It was so low that the head of the Department of Statistics was actually fired. Trump said that she'd given political numbers and got rid of her. He didn't see the irony in that, apparently. He was saying that the statistics should not be political before promptly firing the head of statistics. Anyway, I won't get into that. So I think we're going to see this more insidious, this more subtle economic change where the entry level jobs will just be kicked out from underneath. So if you're thinking about your job, this is great from like a macro level, an economic level, a societal level. Sure, we can think of it in this way, but most people are thinking about themselves. So if you are, let's say, in your 50s and you are lining up on retirement, you're probably going to be fine. I don't think AI is going to get to your level of the organization within that time. And there's going to be a lot of institutional kind of friction. That there will be labor tribunals, there's going to be unions, depending on your industry, obviously, and also just conservatism. It's going to take a while for it to get to the top levels. So if you are high up in an organization, you're probably fine. The problem with this is that this means that a lot of executives, and I talked to quite a few in the kind of C-suite, their risks and their rewards of AI are misaligned because for them, they want to use AI to cut costs as much as possible so that they can have a cushy retirement in the next couple of years. They don't particularly care about the longer term, what's going to be going on with that company or that industry in 15 years or so, because they're going to be retired at that point. So they don't particularly care, but they're the ones who are making decisions about whether or not to use AI. So I think the people who are going to get screwed are the ones at the bottom, the people who are going into work now and the people who are at college or university now who are going to be coming out into the work market in the next couple of years. They're the people for whom it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough few years. If you are in a job, if you are high up in a job, you're probably going to be okay. It's going to take a while before AI starts to come for those jobs directly. It's going to be the people who are not yet in jobs or are looking for jobs right now. That's going to be the really hard part. So I think how AI is going to affect work depends on where you are and who you are, depends on your industry, because artificial intelligence is jagged. Its advances are not the same in all areas. It's really good at some things, but really bad at other things. If you work in a physical industry, you'll also have some protection because robotics is behind currently. Robotics hasn't had its, well, I just achieved some kind of goal. Thank you, TikTok, for making lots of noise. Robotics hasn't had its ChatGPT moment yet. It probably will in the next couple of years. If you work in a industry that is non-algorithmic, so it can't be broken down into repetitive steps, you're probably safer. So something like nursing, for example, is a great example here. When you go to work, you don't know what you're going to be facing on a daily basis, and you need to be able to adapt. And that comes from experience. All of that experience is hard to currently, it's difficult to get into an artificial intelligence. And then the final one is empathy. So there will still be room, at least initially, for roles that require human empathy. So caring professions in particular. Again, just because it's going to take a while for AI to catch up on those. And that was a very long, winding answer to the question of how do you think it's affecting the job market? I think it is. I don't think that AI will create as many jobs as it gets rid of. But how that affects you depends on where you are in the market right now. If you're already in it, or if you're looking at retirement in 10 years or so, you're probably fine. If you are entering the market now, I'd be more worried. I gave this kind of exact spiel the other day, and it was to a group. It was a group at Google, and loads of them were university students. They're like 18, 19. It's like, uh-oh. It's also a question. So I have cousins, and they are, how old are they? 16, 17. And that's a question their parents ask me is, what should they be studying? What should they be doing? And this is a big question right now, not one that I have the answers to. There are people who focus in this area, kind of education, AI, and younger people. For me, my answer would be start something on the side, start a business. It doesn't really matter what it is, just start learning how to make your own money, because we cannot rely on a 9 to 5 job being secure any longer. So absolutely, go to college, go to university, get a job, but on the side, you need to have other things going on, because if that job ceases to exist in the next 5 to 10 years, you at least would have been building something. It could be social media, it could be a SaaS business, it could be a service business where you help people. It doesn't really matter, as long as you are building something and learning the skill of working for yourself and learning how to build a business. That's going to put you in a better position for whatever happens, because we do not know what's going to happen. We just know something will happen, but a lot of very intelligent people, much smarter than me, are still debating this because we don't know. We have no idea. So what you can do is you can prepare yourself for that uncertainty by having multiple sources of income, by having many strings to your bow, by having lots of skills. Like, the more of that you have, the more flexible you will be moving forward.